In 2011, Germany made a decision that would cost over $500 billion and counting. They called it the Energiewende, the energy transition. The plan was to become the world's green energy leader by phasing out nuclear power and replacing it with wind and solar. It was supposed to be a model for the world: clean energy, energy independence, a thriving green economy. Instead, Germany now has the highest electricity prices in Europe. They're burning more coal than before the transition started. They became dangerously dependent on Russian natural gas, a dependency that nearly crippled them when Russia invaded Ukraine. And German industry is now fleeing to countries with cheaper, more reliable energy. This isn't an argument against renewable energy. This is a story about what happens when ideology meets economic reality, when politicians make energy decisions based on what sounds good rather than what actually works. This is Germany's $500 billion mistake, and the lessons from this disaster matter for every country trying to transition to clean energy. Let's start with what Germany actually attempted, because the ambition was genuinely impressive. The Energiewende plan. In the 1990s to 2000s, Germany began a massive push toward renewable energy. The plan accelerated dramatically after the 2011 Fukushima nuclear disaster in Japan, when Germany's government decided to phase out all nuclear power by 2022. The goals were: 1. Phase out nuclear power completely by shutting down all 17 nuclear reactors. Nuclear provided about 25% of Germany's electricity at the time. 2. Replace nuclear and coal with renewables, primarily wind and solar, to generate 80% of electricity by 2050. 3. Reduce carbon emissions by 80 to 95% compared to 1990 levels. 4. Create millions of green jobs in renewable energy manufacturing and installation. 5. Become energy independent by producing power domestically rather than importing fossil fuels. And 6. Export green technology to the world, making Germany the leader in renewable energy innovation. On paper, this looked transformative. Germany would prove that a major industrial economy could transition away from fossil fuels and nuclear power while maintaining economic strength. The investment was massive. Germany spent over 500 billion euros, $500 billion, on the Energiewende between 2000 and 2025. This includes subsidies for solar and wind installation, feed-in tariffs, grid expansion and upgrades, energy storage, research and development, subsidies to industries and households for high energy costs. The execution began immediately. Solar panels covered rooftops across Germany, wind turbines appeared across the country and offshore, nuclear reactors began shutting down on schedule, coal plants were marked for closure. By 2023, renewables provided about 50% of Germany's electricity, a remarkable achievement. Wind and solar capacity increased tenfold. But here's where the problems started showing up. The Energiewende ran into three fundamental problems that its architects either didn't anticipate or chose to ignore. Problem 1. Intermittency. The sun doesn't always shine, the wind doesn't always blow. Solar and wind are intermittent energy sources. Solar produces zero power at night. Wind power fluctuates wildly, sometimes producing massive amounts, sometimes nearly nothing. Germany doesn't have significant hydroelectric capacity, no mountains with big rivers, and they deliberately phased out nuclear, which provides stable baseload power 24/7. This created massive grid stability problems. On sunny, windy days, Germany produces too much electricity. Prices go negative. Germany literally pays other countries to take excess power. Solar and wind farms have to be shut down because the grid can't handle the surplus. On calm, cloudy days, Germany produces far too little electricity. They have to fire up natural gas plants instantly or import power from neighbors at high prices. Energy storage doesn't exist at the required scale. Batteries that could store days or weeks of electricity for an entire country don't exist and won't exist for decades. Pumped hydro storage, pumping water uphill when there's excess power, is geographically limited. Result: Germany needs backup power, constantly, and that backup is mostly natural gas and coal. Problem 2. They became dependent on Russian gas. To back up intermittent renewables, Germany built out natural gas power plants, bridge technology, that produces less carbon than coal and can quickly ramp up when wind and solar drop. But Germany doesn't have natural gas, so they imported it, massively, from Russia. By 2021, 55% of Germany's natural gas came from Russia. They built Nord Stream pipelines directly connecting Russian gas fields to Germany, bypassing Ukraine. Germany convinced themselves this was fine. Trade creates peace, they said. Russia wouldn't weaponize energy because they need the revenue. Then Russia invaded Ukraine in February 2022. Germany faced a nightmare. They'd shut down nuclear plants, made themselves dependent on intermittent renewables, and needed Russian gas to keep the lights on. Russia could, and did, threaten to cut off gas supplies, sending prices soaring. Germany had to restart coal plants they'd planned to close, scramble to build LNG import terminals to get gas from other sources, pay exorbitant prices for energy on global markets, and ration energy to industries. The strategic vulnerability was catastrophic. Germany's green energy transition had made them more dependent on fossil fuels, specifically Russian fossil fuels, not less. Problem 3. Electricity prices exploded. German households and businesses pay the highest electricity prices in Europe, roughly 40 euros per kilowatt hour, 43 cents per kilowatt hour. For comparison, France is 20 euros per kilowatt hour, half the price. US average, 16 cents per kilowatt hour, less than half. Poland is 17 cents per kilowatt hour. Why are German prices so high? Feed-in tariffs. Germany guaranteed above-market prices to solar and wind producers for 20 years. These costs were passed to consumers through surcharges on electric bills. Households subsidize renewable energy through their electric bills. Grid costs. Integrating intermittent renewables requires massive grid upgrades, new transmission lines, smart grid technology, backup capacity, all expensive, all passed to consumers. Backup power costs. Natural gas peaker plants that only run occasionally are expensive to maintain. Those costs get included in electricity prices. Industrial exodus. High energy costs made German manufacturing less competitive. Energy-intensive industries, chemicals, steel, aluminum, started moving production to countries with cheaper, more reliable energy. BASF, Germany's largest chemical company, is closing plants in Germany and expanding in China and the US, explicitly citing energy costs. Germany spent $500 billion to make their energy more expensive, less reliable, and more dependent on adversaries. Of all the decisions in the Energiewende, shutting down nuclear power was the most consequential and the most catastrophic. After Fukushima in 2011, Germany's government, under pressure from the Green Party and public fear, decided to phase out all nuclear power by 2022. The argument was safety. Nuclear had risks, meltdowns, and waste, and Germany could replace it with renewables. By April 2023, Germany shut down its last 3 nuclear reactors, plants that were still functioning, safe, and producing 24/7 carbon-free electricity. What nuclear actually provided? Those 17 reactors produced about 25% of Germany's electricity, reliably, 24/7, with zero carbon emissions. The plants were already built, sunk costs, operating costs were low. They could run for another 20 to 40 years.
What replaced nuclear? Mostly natural gas and coal. Despite all the wind and solar, when nuclear went offline, fossil fuels filled the gap because renewables couldn't provide reliable baseload power. The carbon impact. Germany's carbon emissions didn't fall as much as projected because they replaced zero-carbon nuclear with fossil fuels. If Germany had kept nuclear and added renewables, they'd have dramatically lower emissions. France comparison, the counterfactual. France, Germany's neighbor, made the opposite choice. France generates 70% of electricity from nuclear. The result? French electricity is half the price of German electricity. France's carbon emissions per capita are far lower than Germany's. France exports electricity to Germany when German renewables underperform. France isn't dependent on Russian gas. France spent far less money, achieved better climate outcomes, lower prices, and greater energy security. Germany spent $500 billion and got worse results. The economic opportunity cost. 500 billion euros could have built new advanced nuclear reactors, safer, smaller, more efficient, funded massive energy storage R&D, invested in grid infrastructure, upgraded existing nuclear plants for extended operation. Instead, it subsidized solar panels, mostly made in China, offshore wind, expensive and maintenance-heavy, and made Germany dependent on Russian gas. So how did Germany, an engineering powerhouse, a country known for precision and pragmatism, make such an expensive mistake? Reason 1. Political pressure from the Green Party. Germany's Green Party has significant political power. After Fukushima, anti-nuclear sentiment was overwhelming. Politicians who suggested keeping nuclear were politically toxic. So the decision to shut down nuclear was made based on public emotion and political calculation, not engineering analysis or climate science. Reason 2. Underestimating intermittency. Planners assumed wind and solar, combined with modest storage and grid improvements, could replace baseload power. They were wrong. The engineering challenge of intermittency is far harder than anticipated. You can't just add more wind turbines. If the wind isn't blowing across all of Germany, all the turbines produce nothing. Reason 3. Overestimating battery technology progress. The plan assumed battery technology would improve rapidly, that by the 2020s, massive grid-scale storage would be affordable. It wasn't. Battery costs have fallen, but not enough. Storing a single day of Germany's electricity consumption would require batteries costing tens of billions of euros, and you'd need weeks of storage, not days. Reason 4. Ignoring economic competitiveness. Germany's economy is built on energy-intensive manufacturing, chemicals, steel, and automobiles. These industries need cheap, reliable power. Policymakers assumed industries would absorb higher costs in service of climate goals. Instead, industries moved production abroad. You don't reduce global emissions by moving factories to China. You just move the emissions and lose the jobs. Reason 5. Natural gas seemed like a safe bridge. The plan assumed natural gas would be a temporary bridge to full renewables. It seemed cleaner than coal, abundant, fracking revolution, and Russia seemed like a reliable supplier. This was strategic naivety. Energy dependence is a geopolitical vulnerability. Germany learned this the hard way. So what can we learn from Germany's $500 billion mistake? Lesson 1. Intermittency is not solved by building more intermittent sources. You can cover Germany with solar panels and wind turbines. If it's a calm winter night, they produce zero power. You need baseload power or massive storage. Germany has neither. Lesson 2. Nuclear and renewables should complement each other, not compete. The winning strategy is nuclear for baseload plus renewables for variable demand. France proves this works. Germany tried renewables alone and failed. Shutting down zero-carbon nuclear to build renewables makes no climate sense. It only makes sense if your goal is no nuclear rather than no carbon. Lesson 3. Energy security matters as much as energy source. Being dependent on Russian gas is a strategic failure, regardless of how clean gas is compared to coal. Energy independence requires domestic, reliable sources. Lesson 4. Electricity prices matter for industrial competitiveness. You can't be a manufacturing powerhouse with the highest electricity prices in Europe. Industries need cheap, reliable power. If you can't provide it, they leave. Lesson 5. Political decisions made in crisis are often terrible long-term policy. Fukushima was a tsunami-triggered disaster in a coastal, earthquake-prone country. Germany has no tsunamis, no earthquakes, and advanced nuclear safety, but fear-driven politics shut down safe plants. Lesson 6. Ideology cannot override physics. No amount of political will can make the sun shine at night or the wind blow on demand. Energy policy must be grounded in engineering reality, not aspirational goals. Germany's mistake was attempting a revolutionary energy transition while simultaneously shutting down their most reliable zero-carbon source, nuclear, depending on an adversary for backup fuel, Russia, ignoring the physics of intermittency, assuming technology would solve problems it hasn't solved yet. The result? 500 billion euros spent, higher prices, higher emissions than necessary, strategic vulnerability, and industrial decline. Germany spent over 500 billion euros on the Energiewende, the energy transition. They wanted to lead the world in green energy, achieve energy independence, and decarbonize while maintaining economic strength. Instead, they have the highest electricity prices in Europe, became dependent on Russian gas, are burning more coal, and losing industrial competitiveness. Their carbon emissions didn't fall as much as they would have if they'd simply kept nuclear and added renewables. This isn't an argument against renewable energy. Wind and solar are important parts of the energy mix. This is an argument against ideology-driven energy policy that ignores engineering reality. If this changed how you think about energy transitions and the gap between political promises and economic reality, hit subscribe. Drop a comment. Should Germany have kept nuclear power? And share this with someone who thinks energy transitions are simple. Because Germany's experience proves that good intentions plus massive spending don't guarantee good outcomes. Sometimes they guarantee expensive failure. I'll see you in the next one.